faculty, fellow graduates, and loved ones. It's a pleasure to stand before you today. We have looked forward to this day to hear our names announced as graduates. It's an extra pleasure that I have the opportunity to share my story in hopes to encourage you to dig deeper, push harder, and learn how to dance in the storm. For me, I've learned that through storms, I've needed to look at my opposition and speak to it. This concept may sound a little crazy to some, but to those who haven't always had consistent people in their corner or a support system, that job has to go to you. You see, I believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and I've learned to speak life over myself. But it took me years, storm after storm, trial after trial. I tell myself to stay focused and to not quit. I learned that some of the most powerful tools in my arsenal aren't just money, skills, and influence, but more so prayer, timing, and understanding the season I'm operating in. I've also learned that life is a series of equipping for preparedness rather than readiness. My first encounter with storms began as a child in a small project town right outside of Pittsburgh. I lived in a county that was one of the poorest in the nation, and crime came along with it. Many, if not all, disputes were handled with violence. My first identification with how to handle disputes was displayed through domestic abuse, interactions with the police, unfriendly fire, and fear. Leaving the projects was an annexation cleverly orchestrated by my uncle that became one of my greatest victories as an adolescent. My project upbringing these days is more of the butt of many jokes in my household. My wife says I always have a project story for everything. Basically, she names it, and I didn't have it in the projects. She had a Walmart, and I had a Shop and Save. She had a 7-Eleven, I had a Conesto. She had the Wegmans wall of candy. I had Flo's Penny Candy Shop. And right next to the Sour Patch Kids was Flo's gun because Flo was a gangster. After a while, she caught on to my stories and could predict them coming. One time, she brought up her community swimming pool days as a youth. I abruptly looked at her and said, "We didn't have a pool in the projects." She quickly said, "I bet you didn't have water too." I did the slow turn, I leaned in, looked her right in the eyes, and said, "Only when it rained." We laugh at it now, but I didn't back then. I realize now that those extremes taught me grit, humility, and maturity. All preparations to face greater storms. Storms seem to come when you least expect them. I remember at 17 waking up in a hospital room, unable to blink, smell, speak, or even walk. Learning how I sustained a major head injury and how doctors told my mom that surgery was the best solution that would have made me wheelchair bound. But I have a praying mama who declined surgery and believed that by his stripes, I was healed. But the road to recovery wasn't easy. Relearning all motor skills as if I were a baby, just in a grown man's body. Yet, here I am today with only 7 scars on my head where they stapled my skull shut as a reminder to how deadly storms can be. But storms aren't always gloom and doom. Mine have ranged from starting a business, becoming one of the youngest multicultural executives in my field, creating generational wealth, becoming debt-free, meeting my father at 25 years old, marrying, having children, and overcoming possible divorce, all with the love of my life, becoming the first in my extended family to attain a graduate degree, and beginning a family legacy of our own, committed to higher education, as my wife is also a student in the nursing program at WGU. She's chasing her own storms with aspirations to become a family nurse practitioner. So let me leave you with these closing thoughts. Your journey to this point may have been an arduous task of Herculean effort. However, you decided to enter the storm, and you stand here a better dancer as you've learned how to dance in the midst of it. Through this journey, you may have found faith, resilience, strength to make it through. All are needed tools to make it through your next storm. I believe that gone are the days that the storms are finding you unprepared. Better yet, you chase the storm. Just like today, your next dance is found in your next storm. As Vivian Green said, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. Thank you, and God bless you more than you can ever imagine, ask, or think.